Good evening. Welcome to North West Tonight with Annabelle Tiffin. Our top story. A man appears in court accused of driving his car into a crowd at Liverpool's Trophy Parade. Former Royal Marine Paul Doyle faces 7 charges and was remanded into custody. Also tonight, a murder investigation is underway in the Isle of Man after a 14-year-old boy dies after being found with serious injuries. Uphill struggle. Mountain rescue teams say the rising number of call-outs is pushing them to breaking point. Back to the big time. Oldham head to Wembley and the prize is a return to the Football League.
I can't tell you how massive this is for Oldham. Everybody in Oldham is buzzing.
And I'll be here at the end of the programme with a full weekend forecast, and I'll also be taking a tour around one of Cheshire's finest beauty spots.
The man accused of driving his car into crowds at Liverpool's Premier League victory parade has appeared in court to face multiple charges. Paul Doyle from West Derby didn't enter pleas to any of the allegations he faces and was remanded in custody. Well, our Merseyside reporter Andy Gill was in court. And Andy, in fact, Mr Doyle faced 2 hearings today, didn't he?
He did, Annabelle. The first was at Liverpool Magistrates Court. Mr Doyle is a former Royal Marine, a former company director, a father of 3. He appeared in the dock in a dark suit, white shirt and grey tie. He looked emotional and spoke quietly to give his name, date of birth and address. Mr Doyle faces 7 charges which were read out to him. The first is of dangerous driving between his home in West Derby and Water Street in Liverpool city centre. He also faces 2 charges of wounding, 2 of grievous bodily harm and 2 of attempted grievous bodily harm. His alleged victims are 4 adults and 2 boys aged 17 and 11. Court orders mean that we can't name the complainants. Mr Doyle, as you mentioned, did not enter any pleas and there was no application for bail at the magistrate's hearing.
And Andy, what happened at the second hearing?
Well, all these allegations, apart from the dangerous driving one, are too serious to be dealt with by a magistrate's court. So all 7 charges were then sent almost straight away to Liverpool Crown Court in the same building behind me. At that hearing, Judge Andrew Manari KC, who's the recorder of Liverpool, set a date in August when Mr Doyle will probably enter pleas to the charges he faces. And the judge also set a date in November for a possible trial lasting between 3 and 4 weeks. The prosecution say this is still an ongoing investigation, looking through lots of CCTV, lots of phone footage, talking to lots of people, and the charges may change. May change. The police have said that 79 people were injured in the events of Monday night. Paul Doyle was remanded in custody.
Andy, thanks very much. Our reporter Andy Gill. Next tonight, a murder investigation is underway in the Isle of Man after a 14-year-old boy died after he was found with serious injuries yesterday afternoon. There has been an arrest in connection with the incident. The island's Chief Minister, Alfred Cannan, said he was shocked and saddened by the events. Alex Blake reports from Ramsey.
There's been a lot to digest here in the last 24 hours. While thousands of TT fans have been enjoying the final day of qualifying under a hot sunshine, there's been a dark cloud here as the local community have been grieving the loss of what the BBC understands to be a teenage boy who was killed in Ramsey yesterday. Officers were called to the area of Close Dreen yesterday afternoon, which remains cordoned off while police carry out their investigations. The force have opened an information portal today as well for anyone with any videos, photos or relevant information about the incident to submit it via there. And they've asked people not to speculate or to share that footage and content online or social media. The local politicians and the Chief Minister have all reacted to this and released statements online. Constituency MHKs Alex Allinson and Laurie Hooper have called it awful news and devastating to the local community, who will need time to come to terms with what happened here. And we, of course, await more information on any developments in the coming days. Alex Blake, BBC North West Tonight, Ramsey.
A 1-year-old girl has been left with life-changing injuries to her face, and 2 adults are seriously hurt after being attacked by a dog in Greater Manchester. Police say they were called to Baslow Road in Denton just before 6 o'clock yesterday evening. The dog was seized and humanely destroyed. Meanwhile, 2 men have been arrested after a 7-year-old girl underwent emergency surgery after being bitten by a dog in Kirby on Merseyside. A woman was also injured in the attack by what's thought to be a Staffordshire Bull Terrier. Hospitals and mental health units in the North West are to get a cash injection to help with maintenance issues. The region has received £70 million in funding to help mend things like leaky pipes and electrical issues. The government says fixing poor quality buildings will prevent cancellations in the NHS. Now, a ban on disposable vapes will come into effect across the country this weekend. It comes 2 years after public health officials in Cheshire and Merseyside were the first to call for a crackdown on them. Davinia Ramos has been speaking to some keen vapers to see if the ban will make any difference.
Josh and Ruby both love playing pool with their friends, but there's something else that many of their peers also enjoy: vaping. And it worries them.
I just wanted them to stop because it's a waste of time and it's all the money gone. And then I'm just sat there with the smell. That's hurting me. I do get teasing when they used to do it that I wouldn't vape, and they tried to make me do it. They'd ask me non-stop, did I want some? And I'd have to keep saying no, no.
NHS research from last year shows that a quarter of 11 to 15-year-olds have tried vaping, and nearly 1 in 10 vape. Vapes are often brightly coloured, smell sweet and are readily available, but from Sunday, disposable ones will be banned. But Ruby isn't convinced it'll make much difference.
You can't buy disposable vapes now, but a vape that's got 2 times the amount of puffs in is £1 more that you can still buy. I know people whose parents and carers will buy vapes for them because other kids have got them, and like there's always the thing of, oh well, back in my day I smoked, this is better than smoking. Well, no, it's not.
Public health directors in Cheshire and Merseyside were the first to call for the ban back in 2023 and are welcoming the new ruling. They say it'll also help address the environmental impact of vaping.
We get told to recycle our shopping bags, don't we? We get told to recycle our paper, but we then put 5 million disposable vapes into the environment every week. Not only are they plastic, but they also contain chemicals that get into the environment too. This combined with the legislation that's going through, which will make vapes less attractive as products to children. You know, they will restrict the flavours, they'll restrict the marketing. Hopefully that will mean that young people are less susceptible.
It's illegal to sell vapes to anyone under the age of 18, but as reusable vapes will still be readily available, there are concerns young people will use them instead.
The message that young people recently have sort of shared with us is that it's cool to vape, and it's almost a question of why aren't you vaping rather than why are you vaping, because so many peers are doing it.
From Sunday, businesses caught selling disposable vapes face a fine and a prison sentence of up to 2 years for repeat offences. It's hoped it'll help tackle teenage vaping rates for good. Davinia Ramos, BBC North West Tonight in Knowsley.
Now, last year on North West Tonight, we brought you the story of Natalia. She was failed by Greater Manchester Police after she reported being raped, but then she found herself being arrested over some social media posts. But the man she accused of rape wasn't arrested. Now Natalia, which isn't her real name, has been given a payout by the force, and she's also been given an apology. Phil McCann reports.
It's 2023 and there's a knock at the door.
Just let us in and we can talk about it proper.
It's about some posts on social media.
It's all the things that have been posted on Twitter.
First, it's the shock of I have PTSD. I don't need police. At first, you think something went wrong. Your kids have been hurt or something. I don't need that.
Natalia had been traumatised after she reported being raped 4 years earlier. A series of failings were found with GNP's investigation. There were no charges. The man she accused wasn't arrested. He was invited to a voluntary interview instead. Natalia's name's been changed because he's legally entitled to be anonymous.
I was determined not to let them re-victimise me, as I'd been dealing with a lot. I'd been dealing with the rape, I'd been dealing with the aftermath of them not doing their job.
It's 9:27 and you're under arrest for malicious communications.
But unlike the man she accused of rape, Natalia was arrested for tweets on Twitter, now X.
She was suspected of a fairly minor offence that happened over the internet several months beforehand.
Aidan later helped Natalia to take legal action against the police. They argued she should have been offered a voluntary interview.
It skips the need for taking a person into custody. Being in a cell on their own for likely hours it's a poor environment for mental health, and it would certainly make things a great deal worse.
But after Natalia had been arrested, she told the police she had a hospital appointment. So they decided there and then that she shouldn't be arrested after all, and could come in for a voluntary interview in a few days. But when she called ahead to Bury Police Station a few days later, she was told the investigation had been dropped.
Well, it tells me that the original suspicion that she may be guilty of an offence just wasn't objectively reasonable.
Natalia then took legal action against the police force. The force said in its defence that the officers genuinely and reasonably believed they needed to arrest Natalia because the time limit for bringing charges on that kind of offence was approaching, and because they may have to seize electronic devices. But they said Natalia's hospital appointment changed the balance of whether an arrest was necessary. The force said someone had complained to them that Natalia's tweets were offensive and referred to them. Natalia's lawyers say they still don't know exactly which tweets it was about. Greater Manchester's Chief Constable announced 4 years ago that his force would double the number of arrests it makes. A report last year, though, found some GMP arrests had been unwise, unnecessary and unlawful. The force reached a financial settlement with Natalia with no apology. But in a statement to North West Tonight, it said, "We apologise for the impact that this interaction has had." They say they've improved officer training on their revised voluntary attendance policy and ensured all officers are trained to recognise and respond to the trauma that's felt by survivors of domestic and sexual abuse. They said arrests are not and never have been an end in themselves.
At the end of the day, I am not a criminal. I've never been arrested before. I've never had any dealings with the police before I had to report rape.
All right, we'll leave you with it.
Phil McCann, BBC North West Today, Bury. Phil McCann, BBC.
Right, let's get some of the other day's stories that people are reading on the BBC News website. The Shakespeare North Theatre is hoping to sell naming rights to a sponsor. If they find one, it's thought to be the first deal of its kind. The Oasis reunion shows are getting closer. Today is the last day fans can opt in for a ballot for tickets in the front area of the Heaton Park gig. And you can read that story by Paul Burnell. And Lancashire Fire and Rescue has saved a cat that was caught in a burning building. They used a specially fitted pet oxygen mask to get the cat breathing again. Find out more at bbc.co.uk/local news or on the BBC News app. Now, the Lake District is known around the world for its stunning walks, but if things go wrong up in the fells, well, we rely on volunteer mountain rescue teams to come to our aid. Well, there's a warning tonight from one of these teams that they could reach breaking point if the number of call-outs, some of them not always necessary, continue to rise. Alison Freeman reports.
Ready for action 24 hours a day.
Matt receiving over.
49 mountain rescue teams across England and Wales are just a phone call away when people get into difficulties exploring the beautiful landscapes that are on offer. In the Lake District, there are 12 teams, including this one, Patterdale Mountain Rescue.
2 halves of the stretcher and a cas bag.
But the service isn't funded by taxpayers. The volunteers have jobs and families of their own. And as the frequency of the calls increases, so does the time they give for free. Dr. Dan Jones is a GP at Penrith Hospital, specialising in the rehabilitation of older people. He has 3 young sons. One of his boys is just a couple of months old.
It is a big commitment, and it's more than I probably realised when I joined.
Do you think everybody that calls you out realises you are actually a volunteer?
No, I really don't. We often get comments saying, "Oh, this must be a nice job," and "Oh, what do you do when you're not on rescues?" And I think they think we're sitting at a base waiting for calls to come in.
Matt Nielsen is a property developer. His latest project is a barn conversion near Penrith. He's in no doubt that his family and team make it possible for him to be a mountain rescuer.
You end up prioritising mountain rescue when you know that there's people that are on the fell that are stuck.
Do people not think about the situations they're getting themselves into?
So people see it on social media and think that it's like anything, all social media. You see the nice side, If you only see the nice bits, you know, they don't see the trauma and the bodies that we have to carry off where it goes wrong.
If you're on the high fells, you know, it can take us 2 hours to get to you. And in that 2 hours, if, you know, you call us out just because you're not feeling great or because it's raining and you've got cold, in those 2 hours, you could have probably walked down yourself. Mountain Rescue is a free-for-all service that's there 24/7, and we are happy to go out and we are happy to offer advice, but we're just asking people to just be a little bit prepared. And if stuff does start to look like it's going wrong, sit down, take a breath. Can you deal with this situation yourself? And if you can't, that's absolutely fine. Give us a call, we'll come out straight away.
Alison Freeman, BBC News, Cumbria.
Yeah, an incredible job they do in such incredible scenery. But yes, only call them out if really you need them to, as they say. We're moving on to sport now. And after years, I suppose, in the relative wilderness, Ian, Oldham Athletic are one game away, aren't they now? All riding on a trip to Wembley.
Yeah, their 116-year stay in the EFL ended, Annabelle, in 2022 after poor results on the pitch and chaos off it. But a takeover by local businessman Frank Rothwell secured the club's future. And 3 years on, Latics, a founder member of the Premier League, let's not forget, are on the brink of promotion back to League Two. On Sunday, they play Southend United in the National League playoff final at Wembley.
Me old man would be proud. Hear me sing out loud. We're Latics from Oldham Town.
Oldham have got a Wembley song and an owner who's very, very excited.
Oldham going to Wembley, have your knees gone all trembly?
My voice has. I'll tell you what, it's emotional. It's emotional, you know, and this is massive. I can't tell you how massive this is for Oldham. Everybody in Oldham is buzzing. Do you know, we sold 20,000 tickets. Luckily, they've managed to negotiate another 3,000 tickets. First of all, if you're watching me now and you're not an Oldham fan, please come along and support us. We're supporting the northwest of England. That's what we're doing. We're supporting the northwest. Come along. You'll be more than welcome. Because they've got 30,000 coming, but we've got some good singers.
And a good manager. Mickey Mellon's been promoted 5 times and took Tranmere up via the National League playoffs.
Ultimately, with me as a manager, I want to try and do is give the supporters and the ownership big days, big games, and try and get them big results that they can make memories with. That's what football is absolutely all about. I kind of put that to the side now and understand that I've got a game to go and play and let them go and crack on with whatever they do down at Wembley, but we will be concentrating on trying to win a game of football.
Previous Wembley visits haven't gone quite to plan, defeating the 1990 League Cup final and conceding a late equaliser in the 1994 FA Cup semi-final.
Are you as excited about this one as you were back then?
I think I'm more excited now, actually. Yeah. One of the reasons is it's been able to take my grandson.
Oh, we're buzzing. We're absolutely buzzing.
Yeah.
Can't believe we're going.
Sentiment shared by this Oldham great.
How do you see this going? Because you were devastated when they got relegated from the EFL, weren't you?
Yeah, listen, it's taken so long for us to get back, or get a chance of getting back. If they play against Southend at the weekend, like they played against York and especially Halifax here, I can't see them having a problem. Really pleased for Frank and his wife Judith and everybody that's been involved in bringing the club back to where it is just at this minute.
They've come to the team who finished second overall and crushed their dream.
Business goes in 3 phases. Survive, first year survive. The second year consolidate, get yourself in a strong position. And the third year, you go for growth. Hey! We're going down the day before, I'm going to stay at the hotel with the players and they'll be tucked up in bed while we're just... I've not had a beer for 24 weeks, since New Year's Day. You know, so I'm gagging. Oh, I'm going to break the world record.
Drink responsibly, kids, and you, Frank, if you're watching. Now, it's been a busy day at Liverpool, who've just announced their first summer signing. Netherlands international Jeremy Frimpong, who came through the youth ranks at Manchester City, joins from Bayer Leverkusen for £29.5 million on a 5-year deal. Now, this comes with Liverpool close to signing another Leverkusen player, this man, Germany midfielder Florian Wirtz. Meanwhile, it's been confirmed that Trent Alexander-Arnold will officially join Real Madrid on Sunday to allow him to play in the Club World Cup. We spoke to Lancashire's interim head coach Stephen Croft ahead of Lancashire Lightning's first T20 match of the season last night, and his first game in charge ended in a 7-run victory. Captain Keaton Jennings made 66 as his side finished on 176 for 8 against Worcestershire Rapids, who in reply made 169 for 7. Next up for Lancashire, Nottinghamshire Outlaws tomorrow at Emirates Old Trafford. And it's the final day of qualifying for riders in the Isle of Man TT races, with the first race due to take place tomorrow. Thousands of fans have been arriving on the island over the past few days. Among the many big names competing is this man, the Morecambe missile John McGuinness, 23 times TT winner, now in his 35th season of racing. That is longevity for you. Oh, and Kay has appeared on the sofa too.
Just like that. Kay is here. Yeah, she's going to be here with the weather in just... Thank you, Ian. Sorry, that was rude. Sorry. Kay is here, and that's because it is time for 25 in 25. If you're a regular watcher, you will know that it is a series we started at the beginning of the year to highlight a few of the incredible people and places here in the North West. Little snapshots of a moment in time in our beautiful region. And this week, where have you been?
I have been for a wonderful guided walk around Macclesfield Forest.
I know it well.
Known as Mac Forest, of course, with a wonderful man who knows a thing or two about taking photos and spotting unusual wildlife. For 81-year-old Roger, the walking grandad, there is no better place to be than Macclesfield Forest. So I jumped at the chance to join him and take some photos that have earned him a following online.
Two-banded longhorn beetle.
Wow.
Don't think of the walking, think of what you're seeing.
Greater Stitchwort.
Walking can be a pain sometimes. I have a bad knee, but, you know, get over it.
If you had to hazard a guess at how many miles you've walked over the years?
All I can tell you is between 3 and 5 miles a day.
For?
Maybe 5 or 6 days a week for the last 10 years.
Wow. I know your age.
I know.
And you are as fit as a fiddle. Do you think it is down to the walks?
I think it's keeping, you know, keeping you... Why do you walk? To keep fit? No. To keep the joints moving. Walking like this is for those.
Yeah. The later Roger is happy.
Indeed, he is.
Yeah.
That's what this does. Makes you happy with yourself. I'm quite happy with who I am. Some other people don't like me. My dad said 50% of the people will like you and 50% of the people will not like you. Don't bother with the 50% that don't like you. Oh, look, there's some cotton grass. Yeah.
I've never seen that before.
Oh, look. Yeah.
A little friend.
The slow bug.
A slow bug?
Yeah, as in slow gin.
I like slow gin.
Yeah.
So I must like
slow
slow
you
bugs.
should go walking up there, because they're all up there.
Woo!
Oh, it's gone off.
Just talk me through what we can see.
Well, you're looking at the Cheshire Plain to start with. So that's Jodrell Bank over there. You know Jodrell Bank.
That little blob?
Yeah, it's a huge disc, equivalent of a 5-storey, 6-storey building.
It looks so tiny.
It does. It's so far away. This is one of the places that I took a photograph. I got a photograph of an inversion, a cloud inversion.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, one of them was here, and the other one was at the top of Toot Hill, which is just the other side of that hill there. You couldn't wish for a better view, but you have to stand on here because otherwise your photograph is just full of foreground. I think you could see
I'm
it from
climbing
there.
on you. That is a great picture.
Yeah, it's not bad. That's a good picture.
And I'm delighted to say that that very picture of our cameraman Andrew and I made it onto the famous blog.
I've been to Mac Forest so many times. That's just given me a whole different perspective on it.
Absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
And he's out there 5 days a
But
week.
wasn't he a great character? You are meeting some brilliant people, aren't you?
So many good characters, Roger. Thank you so much. And there's still more to come for 2025. Now then, weather today. Started off quite poor, didn't it? We did have a fair amount of cloud. Razzmatazz, thank you for that fabulous photograph. Brightened up from the north as superbly forecast. You're welcome. How are we doing for this weekend? Well, if you want to send your photos in over the weekend, you can do so. It's going to be a warm Saturday and then a cooler, fresher feel to the day on Sunday. That's all thanks to a cold front. So, settled weather as we head through this evening and overnight. We've got this weak ridge of high pressure, but then look out in the wings, that cold front behind it through Sunday, a much cooler, fresher feel to the weather and windy as well. But if you're out and about through this evening, it's actually quite pleasant. Some late evening sunshine, most of us are dry. The wind's a lot lighter than they have been, and overnight tonight it's going to stay mild with variable cloud. Temperatures drop down to about 10 degrees, which is 50 in Fahrenheit. So first thing tomorrow morning, early doors, some sunny spells. Cloud generally increases, the risk of the odd isolated shower or two, but for a good swathe of the day, we see a lot of dry and fine weather away from the Isle of Man. Well, we'll get 22 degrees in some parts, but look on the Isle of Man. Here we start to see the beginning of that cold front, cloudy conditions, outbreaks of rain. And as that cold front comes through, we start to see a few more blues on the map. So indicating temperatures will start to take a dip. For Sunday, I think across more southern parts of Cheshire and Merseyside, you'll see the best of the sunny spells. Further north, Cumbria, Lancashire, Isle of Man, the risk of showers blown through on a strong and gusty breeze. Temperatures will be between about 14 and 17 degrees. It won't feel like that because of the breeze. High pressure, though, a lot of settled weather on Monday. That's your forecast.
So, I was going to say Saturday's the better day, but
it
looking at that is...
For a swathe.
Yeah.
The weather is a yo-yo over the next week, changeable, ups and downs, highs
Well,
and
we
lows.
live in the northwest. We're used to it, aren't we? Thank you very much. Have a lovely weekend, and we'll be back at 10:30. Bye-bye.
Take care.